All right, we have a brand new update from Grok 4.5 today. I'm going to be building it out into the Agent OS. So you can see the announcement from Elon Musk over here. Grok 4.5 is out now. It's not using the new internally developed inference software, but it is out right now, built on the V9 foundation, scoring pretty well, just behind Fable 5, GPT 5.5, and Opus 4.8, but matching GPT 5.5 on coding benchmarks at lower costs. Only way to know if it's good or not, my friends, is to make sure that we test it on the benchmarks. So we're going to get this party started, and we're going to start looking at Grok 4.5, building it out, and also testing it on Goldie Bench, see how it performs versus everything else. So let's see how it does. So if you're not familiar with Goldie Bench, this is the system that we have. We usually test about 47 different tasks with models that we're looking at, as you can see right here. And we need to add Grok 4.5, which I'll do in a second. And we'll see what we get back. So let's get this party started. We'll have a look now. If you got any questions whilst you're watching, feel free to ask. If not, I'm going to get straight into coding. If Twitter actually loads. Let's check that out first. I think the internet's really slow today. Wow, look at that. Might have to switch Wi-Fi in a second, it's that bad. What's this going on? Let's check the SEO projects. See how we're doing. If you got any questions, by the way, whilst you're watching, feel free to ask. Happy to help. DG Jerome, welcome back. How are you finding Grok 4.5? I'm just testing it out right now, so we'll run it through Opus 4.8. That'll test it, and we'll run like 6 useful builds with it, so you can see what we'll test out with it first. 9 games that we'll test out, see how it performs. Once we build those out, we'll test it more. The last Grok build was pretty good, so I'm interested to see what Grok 4.5 can do as well. Let's see how it goes. I'm feeling optimistic so far. Have you tested out, DG? You can get it inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description, or just go to the AI Profit Boardroom if you want the Agent OS. And then you can find all the details right there. Awesome. Yeah, just some basic Grok build stuff right now, but no benchmark style testing. Seems great for current use case. Yeah, I'm interested to try it, see how it goes. Oh, we're already getting stuff back, actually. It looks interesting. Rendering clean. No errors so far. It's looking good. Oh, this is looking pretty good. It's going to be interesting to test this. You make sure you update Goldie Bench. Let's see what we got here. Your AI news and YouTube videos is what got me to get a better understanding of AI and its capabilities. It got me developing my own software. Wow. Congrats. That is actually amazing, Methodica. Thank you so much. That's amazing. Love it. Congrats on the journey. Thanks for being so positive as well. What else we got here? Trey, all I'm doing is watching you work out. Hey, let's keep it positive, man. We're testing out Grok on Claude here. We're having a good time. Absolutely love your channel. Enjoy the content you create. Thanks so much for the positivity, Methodica. You legend. Thank you. Trey says, I am going back and forth on a project, passing information between GPT 5.5 and Grok 4.5. Grok is holding its own, in my opinion. I'm seeing the same thing, actually. When we're testing out, from what I've seen, the results with Grok are looking really good. So once we've fully tested it, I'll show you what it looks like. Let's see if it's been added to Goldie Bench now, and we can check it out. Yeah, ever? Just gonna ask if we've deployed it yet. Deploying it right now. It'll be interesting to see how they perform. It's scoring an average of 7.6, which is up there with Fable 5, to be fair. I think that's outperforming or right up there with Opus. And then we'll build out the other 45 projects as well in a second. See how it does. Actually might be one of the best. Wow, I'll show you this in a second. I'm excited to show this. Grok is looking very good. That's what I can tell you right now. Wow. Back in a sec. If you want to see what we've done so far, check it out on Goldie Bench under Grok 4.5. It's looking good. It's looking very good so far. Way better than HY3, by the way, peeps. This one was pretty bad. This is looking good. This is very impressive. You can check it all out at Goldie Bench, by the way, peeps, if you've never seen that before. It's looking good. I'll be back in a sec. Grok 4.5 has dropped. You can try it for free, and it is pretty impressive. Let me show you what I've built with it so far. We've tested it on 8 different builds. It's very impressive. You can see our results so far on Goldie Bench if you want to have a look. But for example, if we check out this game right here, you see right here, like the graphics quite nice. It's fun to use. I mean, the camera angle could be a little bit better, but overall, pretty cool. Let's have a look at the next one. So this is kind of like an open world RPG game. As you can see, camera angle is nice, graphics feel good, good physics in there. Let's have a look in the sky, try and find the dragon. There it is. We've got the mountains over here, 3D, looking pretty cool. We have much better outputs than when I tested something like, for example, HY3 from Tencent. It's looking really good. Let's test the next one out. So this is a racing game. Now that is fun. That is pretty cool. Definitely works. Decent graphics. Let's try it again. A little bit hard to control. I guess that's the point of the game. Let's try it out here. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. A little bit buggy in parts, but overall nice, fun to play, etc. Let's check the next one out. So this is like an open world RPG game and very easy to control. It's actually got enemies as well, which is good. Very big, expansive open world style. Yeah, it's looking great so far. Let's try the next one. So this kind of voxel craft game, kind of like Minecraft, as you can see here. And it just built this out in like 1 or 2 clicks. I mean, literally, most of these are just one prompts. It's very, very smooth. Tests super nice. If you actually compare this, and we will compare this versus, for example, Opus 4.8, it'll be interesting to see where it goes. I think this is the only one that didn't look very good at all. So you can see this is whatever it's supposed to be is terrible. So I'd say that's probably one of the worst ones. And then we have this game, which is super fun to play, works really well. Not too much detail. I have noticed that in some of the builds, it's like a little bit hard to control some of the games. For example, the controls are opposite sometimes, but overall fun to play, works really nicely, easy to use. And bear in mind, like I'm already subscribed to Twitter, which means like if you're using something like this, you don't need to pay any extra. You get it included, which is pretty amazing in itself. So 8 tests, 7 good builds. This one was not very good, but the rest were actually pretty decent. How does it compare versus other models? Let's find out. So if we filter on Goldie Bench just to Grok 4.5, let's compare the builds. I mean, this isn't really a fair comparison, but if we wanted to compare, how does it do? So we've got Fable 5 versus Grok 4.5, just to show you the difference. So this is the racing game we talked about before. Then we have this from Fable 5. And you can see there is a clear difference in the quality, the graphics, the control, the details, even like the UI is much nicer with Fable 5. Now let's have a look versus Opus 4.8. So actually on Opus 4.8, this generation didn't work at all. Let's have a look on Grok 4.5. So that actually works pretty nice, easy to use, fun game, etc. Graphics are much nicer. Does feel a little bit like Lego, but apart from that, it's good. Let's have a look at the next generation. So this is Opus 4.8. Really weird. Sometimes you create these games and like the controls are backwards, if that makes sense. So like what you think is walking forward is actually walking backwards. Apart from that, not bad. Like I like the effects, everything else. Let's have a look at this one. I mean, this one is not far off. I wouldn't say there's a huge difference between them. If anything, this feels a bit smoother and less laggier. Let's compare the next one. I would definitely say Opus 4.8. Well, actually, yeah, I would say Opus 4.81 on this one. It just looks a lot nicer, better UI, etc. The only thing is, you'll see that it's a little bit laggy when we're playing this. If we compare that to Grok here, the gameplay itself is much smoother, but the details in the UI not as nice, and it's a little bit buggy in places. Definitely lost on this game. Let's have a look at the racing game. Oh, what happened here? This is Opus 4.8. This is Grok build. So I mean, on some tests, it's up there. I think Elon Musk actually said it's like Opus class, Opus level, which I would definitely agree with. I think like, Grok 4.5, it can create some amazing stuff. Nice generations, nice UI, works pretty smoothly, outperforms Opus 4.8 in some places. And also when you're, for example, building something, it just feels smoother in general with Grok 4.5 versus Opus 4.8. So here's one more. So this is Voxelcraft. This is Opus 4.8. Bit of a disaster on that one. Let's have a look and compare it to Grok build here. I mean, this is much better, much nicer, much more interesting, etc. Right, and actually works. So there is a lot of instances where Grok 4.8 is outperforming it. Now, Grok 4, not 4.5, not Grok 4.8. Grok 4.5 just got dropped. I've been testing it for about an hour now. So once we have more time to test it out, I will create all 47 tasks directly with Grok 4.5. They're all generating in the background right now. So it'll be interesting to see how they perform side by side. But overall, looking very promising. This is by far the best version of Grok that I've seen so far. For coding, for building stuff out, for getting graphics, definitely the best. You can feel an instant difference, especially when you compare it side by side. So let's see how it performs on the benchmarks. Again, who's a lot of people ask me this: which benchmarks do you trust? Do you trust benchmarks? Which ones do you like? I always say test it for yourself. And also, if you want to see what I've generated with it, you can check it out on Goldie Bench. So, real world engineering excellence. Grok 4.5 was trained on data sets spanning knowledge in coding, science, engineering, and maths, good intelligence, etc. You can see how it performs. So this is Grok 4.5, not quite as high on deep SWE versus Fable and GPT 5.5, but at the same time, it's outperforming Opus 4.8 Max by quite a long way. Again, test these yourself, try it out yourself, see what you think. But for me personally, I would say that Opus 4.8 is getting beaten in some tests by Grok 4.5. And you've seen that side by side today as well. So I would try it out yourself. Now, you can use this with Hermes as well. So if you want to use Hermes directly with Grok 4.5, you can create an OAuth login with it. So you can see we've got Grok 4.5 plugged into Hermes inside our Agent OS over here. We've added that as a new profile. And then it actually works pretty quick to reply. So we just said like, yes, you working? Yeah, it is. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. If you want to change your model inside Hermes to Grok 4.5, you can just go to your terminal here and then just type in model. And then from there, you can select the model that you want to use. So you would scroll down to XAI, Grok OAuth, and then just use it from there. That's how you can get access to it. So it works inside Hermes. It performs pretty well. It's right up there with Grok. We also tested it inside our Grok CLI as well. So that's plugged into this system. Again, we're using Grok Build CLI on X. You can see the stuff that we built inside our workspace here. So the cool thing about that is we can kind of use it as a standalone CLI here. We can go back and forth with it. We can ask it to build stuff. And then inside our workspace, we'll actually get the generations back. Also, another thing that we've built out with Grok 4.5 is the studio system here. So we can go inside Hermes Studio. This is inside my Agent OS in the AI Puff boardroom. You can go inside Hermes Studio, you can ask it to generate an image, and then it will give you an image or a video or a voice note back. So let's try this out. So we've asked it to generate an image of a cat, and very, very fast, right? That literally took about 5 seconds to generate an image. Let's try now a video. So we're going to say, create a video of a cat eating cheese. And Grok can create some pretty nice videos, as you can see right here. So if we look at some of this, the way that I've previously used it is we actually built it into our video agent over here. And then what it can actually do is we can type in a prompt into the video agent and it will do the research directly for whatever topic we type in. We can change the length over here, and then we can actually use Grok to generate the B-roll with an AI avatar. So if you want to see an example of that in action, this is an example. This is a custom workflow we built into the Agent OS. So you can see that it's added the B-roll inside a video with the AI avatar, done the research, created the voiceover, plugged it all together, and we create an awesome video like this, as you can see. Another powerful example of how to use Grok 4.5. A lot of people be like, what's the use case? What's the use case? Or how to use this stuff? Or, Grok 4.5 isn't any good, etc. But you can see it clearly is good. It can create really amazing stuff. But the most powerful way to use it by far is to create your own custom workflows. So to create a video agent that can combine the power of Grok 4.5 video generation and then also generate the full video with an AI avatar and a voiceover over the top, like that's insane. That's how you use it. 99% of people don't know how to do that. Now, if you go into Grok, into Hermes over here, one other thing that we've actually built out is Hermes Oracle. Now, with Hermes Oracle, we have Grok plugged into this system so that it can pull the latest news inside our Agent OS for whatever topic we ask it to do. So, for example, we can actually say, okay, every 24 hours, search for the latest trending topics in my industry. And then from there, create this system where it pulls in the latest news, categorizes it from Grok in terms of what's the most trending. So you can see this scores 92 versus this scores 65. So obviously Meta is not as big news as Claude Fable 5, which makes sense. And then we can actually draft and publish straight to our WordPress blog the SEO content. We can draft the social media content, and we can see the original tweet over here, right? That's the power of this stuff, but you want to have like custom workflows. And that's the way that I would get the most out of Grok 4.5. If you're wondering how I do it personally, so let me show you an example. I will literally just go into Claude Desktop every day. I spend about 3 to 4 hours doing this. And I will say to Claude, listen, we want to build this studio inside Hermes Agent that combines OAuth with Hermes, create a new profile for it, create the Hermes Oracle that pulls in the latest trending news, and then also create a studio where we can generate images, videos, and voice notes using Grok or Minimax as well. And so when you build out those systems, you tell Claude, Opus 4.8, or Fable 5 to build it out for you, it's insane. Like there's so many more powerful options you get with that. And if you're wondering how to do it, you just go inside Claude. If you're wondering why to do it, well, you get much smoother workflows and everything's inside one place. If you want my system that's already set up for it, you can get that inside the AI offboarding. But that's the whole point of this. So it's really impressive. I mean, bear in mind, like I don't have to pay any extra for this as well. I again don't rely on benchmarks. I just test out myself and see what we think. If you want to get access to it, there's 3 ways really, I think, to use Grok Build, which is you either use it inside the API, or you would use it inside the CLI, which we've got here, or you would actually plug it into Hermes Agent, and then you can create custom workflows like Hermes Oracle, or for example, the studio, or for example, the chat. Right? Those are the best ways to use it, step by step. So it's pretty powerful. Let's see how long it takes to respond. So I'm just going to say, what did we do yesterday inside Hermes? I just want to see how long does it actually take to reply. And also, the other thing that surprised me is I haven't hit any rate limits yet, and I would expect to hit them pretty quickly when you're building out the sort of games that I showed you before. Right? We've been testing all morning relentlessly, but it's not hit any rate limits yet, which really shocks me, to be fair. Like I thought that would, run out of tokens pretty quickly, but not so far. Pretty good. You can see it's quite slow here. Now, I think that's because it's using tools, but I would say it's pretty slow inside Hermes. So just be aware of that as well. It's like, yes, you can plug it in OAuth into Hermes. Is it fast? Not from what I can see so far. Seems really, really slow. I actually don't think as well. When I look at the demo that they've created here, it's not that interesting. Like they've really underplayed it. I don't think that's actually quite an interesting prompt. I think they could have created a much better demo there, to be fair. Also, if you look at the token efficiency, this is pretty interesting. So, according to the research here, it's faster than Flash models and it uses less tokens. So, if you combine or compare Opus 4.8 Max versus Grok 4.5, this apparently uses 4.2x fewer tokens. That's pretty nice. Like, that's a big headline, super useful. Again, in terms of pricing, I'm just using Grok off, which saves a lot. But yeah, overall, super useful model. I think the best way to get the most out of it by far is to use it inside the Grok CLI and build with that directly. And then at this point as well, bear in mind, like when you're using Grok, it's the only one that actually has access to real-time news as well from Twitter, which I think is super useful for automations because a lot of automations rely on like real time, especially if it's like around content creation or, for example, social media content or research. Like you need real-time data, and I think Twitter and Grok is probably the best way to do that. So overall, awesome. Definitely check it out. Best way to use it inside the agent OS because you're going to combine it with custom workflows and get way more out of it. So, for example, the video agent that I showed you earlier, the Hermes Oracle system that pulls in the latest news, the studio that can generate images, videos, and voice on the spot. Like this stuff is super powerful. That's how you get the most out of it. And also bear in mind, like you can use Memory Galaxy with it. So we've got a memory system here. It has all my context. It takes notes on us. It's being updated by all my agents. Every time I use it, my notes get plugged into automatically into this system as well. So for example, we've added Hermes Astros directly into Memory Galaxy. So like every time one of my workflows with Hermes runs, it automatically updates my memory, which my agents can then use for context in the future. So it's a self-improving loop because the memory gets better every single day. So if you want to get my full system for all of this, feel free to get it inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments and description, or go to the AIProfitBoardroom.com. This is my AI automation community that helps you save time, grow, and learn with AI automation. Inside the community, you can ask questions, get help and support in real time. Loads of great people inside there. I personally answer the questions inside here daily too. Inside the calendar, you can jump up weekly coaching calls, ask questions, share your screen, meet other cool members. Inside the classroom, you can get access to all of my best training. So if you're a complete beginner, you can get the beginner to expert course over here. And if you want our agent OS system, you can get that over here. And we update this daily with a zip file that you can install, a video tutorial, and also every time something useful comes out, like for example, we created a minimization playbook. We create a full system for it right here, as you can see, with a video tutorial and an actual step-by-step guide. So feel free to get that link in the comments description or just go to the aiprofitable.com. And then also inside the map, you can meet people locally who are building with AI agents like you. So feel free to get that and hope to see you inside there. Plus, you can DM me anytime too. Cheers for watching. What's up? I am using Grok Build now, and it's impressive. It feels a little less intelligent, but it is faster and cheaper. There we go. I just want to know how you create so many how you create so much content. So if you want to learn more about that, we have inside the AI Profit Boardroom, we have a full system on YouTube where I show my whole workflows here. So if you want to learn more about that, you can get my full 6-week course on how to create content over here. And that will help you a lot, I think, if you're wondering how we do that. I get that question quite a lot, but yeah, you can get the full training on the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to learn more about that. How would you define vibe coding? I mean, if you're asking that question, what are we doing here? I would say like it's just like coding something out, just sort of jazzing around with AI coding tools. That's what I would say it is. How would you define it? Um, let's have a look. We got this getting done over here. Oh, what is going on with Opus? It's totally letting us down here. Today, we're going to be answering questions about the agent operating system, how to use it, how to get the most out of it. This is a powerful system where we combine a memory system, we take the latest updates. So, for example, like Grok 4.5 just dropped. We've already created a Grok CLI inside the system where we've tested out loads of different cool builds with this, and it looks really, really impressive. And bear in mind, this is free if you already subscribed to Twitter, which is awesome. We've got, for example, like free Claude Code plugged into HY3 and OmniRoute that just dropped over the last 7 days. And then, for example, with the new Grok 4.5 update, we've got Hermes Oracle plugged into it. We've got Hermes Astros. We've got a voice powered AI agent. This is by far the most powerful way to use AI agents. 99% of people don't know about how to use this or that it's even possible. And we've already created all these amazing systems around it. So we actually give this to AI Profit Board members. And then we get a lot of questions daily about how to use these systems. So what I'm going to do today is just answer those latest questions. Let's get into it. So we've got a question here from Gene, and Gene was saying, with Ruffalo, is it still worth using, or is OpenClaw or Hermes better? And I would say Ruffalo was great. If you're not sure what Ruffalo is and you're watching this, by the way, Ruffalo is a system where you can have like multiple sub agents working with whatever agent you're using. So, for example, with Claude Code, you could create like a full team of agents. I would say that Claude Code actually replaced it with Ultra Code. So they created their own version of Ruffalo anyway. So you don't need it. And then also, if you go into Hermes, Hermes automatically has teams of sub agents as one of their latest updates as well. On top of that, if you actually go inside the Kanban board of Hermes agent, you can visualize the sub agents that you create. So if you want teams of agents, you don't need Ruffalo anymore because you can either do that with Claude and Claude Ultra Code or with Hermes. But either way, you don't need Ruffalo. It was just really good a couple of months ago when none of those features were out for either Ruffalo or Hermes. So we got a question here from Andrew, and Andrew was asking like how to set up Open SEO. So there's a full set of instructions on the GitHub right here. As you can see, this is a powerful system for rank tracking, for automating SEO, for having different SEO workflows, and then you can plug it into your Agent OS. So, for example, we have this full SEO section for SEO inside the Agent OS here, and then we have Open SEO there. But if you're still struggling to set it up, what I did, and this is what worked for me personally, because I never set up Docker myself, is just get the details of the GitHub, paste that into Claude, make sure you're using either Fable 5 or Opus 4.8, and then get it set up for you. And then just keep it looping until it finally works. John is asking, has anyone attached Hermes to Abacus? So I think Abacus actually have a cloud hosted version of Hermes, and you can use that directly with Abacus. But personally, I would just use it either self-hosted or on a VPS. And actually, Hermes have just released Hermes Cloud today, where you can actually host Hermes in the cloud and use it directly there instead. So I don't see the need for using it with Abacus unless you want all of their tools. But when I tested out myself, it was pretty slow. And I think there's better ways to use it when you self-host it yourself and customize it as you want. So we got a question here. Nick was like, with the boom of AI and marketing becoming more saturated and everyone having an AI agency, which I actually don't know many people who have a big AI agency. Like there's a few people who implement it, but there's not that many people who implement it consistently and sell it to clients. So I still think it's wide open right now for most people. I haven't even seen any good white label options. But Nick has said, why not make the business yourself and implement it for yourself? Yeah, so we actually implement it in every single one of our workflows inside our agency. So, for example, my whole team uses it, and we've actually scaled back the team a lot because of the automations that we have. So, I think if you already have a business, the best way to start with AI is not to create a new agency, but to implement it inside the existing workflows that you have, inside the existing business that you have. So, Jason was asking about how to set up Obsidian. Should you use it with a separate human vault and a vault for the AI, or should you just have one main Obsidian setup? So for me personally, I just have one Obsidian setup. I don't have like multiple setups. I think it's better to have it all in one place just to keep it simpler. And also, when you're setting up Obsidian, the more complicated you make it, the more tokens it's going to use and the more difficult it's going to be to implement it. Whereas if you have it all inside one place where you check it and your agents check it, then it's a lot simpler. It saves time and it uses less tokens. Jose was asking about carousels with NA10. One thing that I'd recommend, this is the way that I would start with NA10 workflows in the future, is just ask NA10 if it can be consistent via the workflow builder. So there's an AI you can use inside NA10 now where you can build the workflow via chat. And I would just say make sure that every image is consistent inside the workflow. There looks like there's a really good workflow template as well, which I'll link to below. So we got a good question here from from Joshua, who was saying, "Hi, I've been using HyperAgent, but I wanted to get set up the Hermes agent with Agent OS. Seems pretty similar to what I'm currently used to, with the ability to use open source models and lessen AI usage. Where do I go to learn about how to do this?" So you can get the full Agent OS system here with the Hermes setup inside this section. So you go to the classroom, inside the AI Profit Boardroom, and then you go to new daily updates. And you can find the zip file to install it, a full step-by-step guide in the video tutorial here. For setting up a VPS, I'm going to show you two different examples. So I think that Paul actually got it set up this way instead, right? So you can actually get the Agent OS on multiple devices, or you can actually use something like Hostinger, I believe. Yeah, so a lot of people are using Hostinger VPS. That seems to be pretty popular. Jing was asking how to upload contacts into Go High Level. So we use High Level personally as well. There's a really good tutorial for this, which I'll link to below. It's quite easy to do with a CSV. We got a question from Elsa. What's the best practice to set up Agent OS safely? Should you set up the Agent OS on a completely different machine with its own Apple ID or on a VPS? Wants it to be safe but also functional. What's the best setup? For me personally, I just have it running locally. You can also ask the agent when you set it up to reduce the amount of permissions it has so that it has to ask you for approval for everything if you want to play it really safe. I'd also recommend that you don't do anything you're not comfortable with. So if you're not sure, always stray on the side of not doing it, right? Like if you're not sure about setting something up or you're not sure about using a certain skill or CLI, then just don't do it. Additionally, I wouldn't have it on a VPS. I think if you look at all the problems that came with OpenClaw, there are a lot of problems with it. And like I say, for me personally, I just have it on one machine. If you want it to be really, really safe, then you can actually set it up with local only models and have it running offline on a separate machine without access to the internet. That's another option if you want to play it really safe. So it depends on what you want it to do. And bear in mind, like the more functional you make it, the more powerful it becomes and the harder it becomes to control. So you want to make sure that if you do want it to be functional, that you're comfortable with the way you set it up. We have a question here from Stephen who says, what are you doing to build your second brain? So, as I showed before, we have the Memory Galaxy over here. That is my second brain. Super powerful stuff. Gets updated automatically every time we use our AI agents inside the system. So it all links together, which is beautiful. And then you can see here that Steven says, what are you doing to build it? I have tons of conversations across Codex, ChatGPT, Claude Code, and Hermes, but I'd like them all to use a shared knowledge base. So what would I recommend? I would recommend that you use Obsidian and then have an agent OS that brings it all together. But you can just start with Obsidian to keep it simple. And we have something called the Infinite Context Engine, which is a system that combines OMI that takes notes for me. That plugs it into Obsidian, and then Obsidian plugs it into my Agent OS system. And that works really well. So if you're watching this, you're like, what is Omi? Omi is an open source project that can listen to my microphone, watch my screen all day, and then from there, it can actually take thousands of memories, as you can see. And then after that, what it's going to do is we can actually export the newest memories to Obsidian, right? So for example, we can sync that to Obsidian, as you can see here. Now, once that's done, it's then going to export the information over to Obsidian. And Obsidian looks something like this. And you'll see a full knowledge graph here. Now, once we've done that, we actually add it into our memory galaxy inside the agent OS, so it all syncs together. And if you want a really detailed version of that, check out the infinite context engine training that we created. Really powerful stuff. So we got a question here from Pedro, which is right now, what type of AI automations are most in demand? And should you use NA10, Claude Code, or Hermes instead? There's so many things that he finds himself getting lost in what he should build and try to sell. So, from what I see, the most popular service that people want is an agent OS system because clients know they need a dashboard like this, but they don't know how to implement it. So, if you can build that with Claude Code, or you can, for example, use our system, customize it for clients, and then sell it to them. That would work really well. And I think out of everything, this will be the most powerful to sell because clients want more leads, they want more content, they want more customers, and the Agent OS system can be customized for that whole system. Plus, it's a way to create almost like a SaaS tool that's fully customized without having to be a developer. So, for example, if we have a look at the systems that we've set up, like every problem that I had, I've now set up inside the agent OS. So, for example, I used to have to spend a lot of time creating videos, so we created the video agent. I used to have to spend a lot of time creating SEO, so we created the SEO agent. I used to, for example, struggle to have context across my agents. So I created the memory system. And then I've shared that with the whole community inside the AI Profit Boardroom. And that's something that clients would be interested in too. So, if you look at it from the client's perspective, it's like, right, okay, what do they need? Well, they need more leads. They want to grow. So how do we get them more leads? Well, we can create more content for them using the video agent or the SEO agent. We can generate more leads for them using the outreach tool over here. We can help them organize all of their data using the memory galaxy. And that's the most powerful way to help clients, I think. That's what they're really interested in. And GPT 5.6 is about to drop on Thursday. Can't wait for that. I've already tried out Grok 4.5 today. That's really good as well. So that just dropped too. As soon as GPT 5.6 drops, I'll be testing it and adding it inside Goldie Bench as well. So I can't wait to see how it performs. A lot of people are saying it's not quite as good as Fable 5, but let's see. For the people who got early access to it, basically. So Chad was saying the his Hermes agent is using a lot of tokens. So for me personally, if I'm using something like GLM 5.2 with Hermes, I don't use the API. I would just use the coding plan. And then that way you've got a flat cost for the coding plan. You don't seem to ever run out of tokens with Hermes, and therefore there's no extra costs. So it's limited to whatever the coding plan you subscribe to costs. Also, we have a token minimization playbook. So if you check out the token minimization training inside the classroom, that shows you multiple different ways, like 10 different ways to reduce the amount of tokens your agents use, which solves a massive problem too. So Garrett has a few questions here about the best setup for Paperclip and Hermes. So what is the best way to use Paperclip together with Hermes agent for implementing skills and tasks and everything else? So the way that we set this up inside our agent OS system is we created an AI SEO agency with a bunch of agents that work together in a team. And that seems to work pretty nicely. Now, I don't use it that much. And if you're wondering what the best use cases are, it may be a case that you don't actually need it. Because usually the use cases stand out to you very obvious. So it might be the case that you don't even need it and you're overcomplicating it. But if you do want to try it, what we actually did is we got it to work on a bunch of different tasks together. Like, for example, creating tools, creating websites, creating relevant mini apps related to our SEO agency. And then it would just create and work on those for like hours autonomously as a team. But honestly, I think if you're not sure how to use it and you're wondering what the use case is, it may be a case you don't actually need it and just one Hermes agent would do the job. So, for example, if you were looking at Paperclip and you're like, wow, okay, well, I really want to create a team of designers. That's something that's going to help me a lot. It's going to save me a lot of time. Okay, let's go with that. But if it's a case that you feel like, I don't even know what the use case is, then probably in that instance, you don't even need it. It's unnecessary. You're just making things too complicated for yourself. And that's basically it. We've answered every single question inside the AI Profit Board today. I do this daily for all the members. So if you want to ask me a question, feel free to join and post inside the community. Inside the classroom, you get access to all of my best trainings, systems, lessons, etc. So if you're a complete beginner, you can go from beginner to expert over here. If you want to get my Agent OS system, you can get that here. And we have a last update date. You can see the full video tutorial, step-by-step guide, and the zip file down here. Also, we add new trainings based on what's actually useful. So you can see, for example, we've just added a new token minimization playbook to reduce the amount of tokens you use so that you need less resources to run your agents. We also, for example, created a new training on HY3 from Tencent, and we're building new stuff out all the time based on what's actually useful and can help you. You can also direct message me if you have any questions personally. And inside the calendar, you can jump on weekly coaching calls, get help and support in real time, ask questions, etc. Inside the map, you can meet people in your local area who are building with AI agents and using the Agent OS, and that's all inside the AI Profit Boarding. Now, you might also say, okay, well, can anyone use an Agent OS system? Can anyone build it? So let me show you some examples here. Like we've got so many testimonials and wins. So for example, Jacob set up the Agent OS in about 10 minutes, and we've got 196 pages of testimonials and wins just like this. So you can see here, Rick joined 30 minutes and already had the OS set up using Claude Code. Like there's so many powerful, so many great people inside the community who are non-technical, can set up an agent operating system, are getting great results, are sharing their dashboard automating and implementing and customizing everything too. So if they can do it and I can do it, then you can do it too. Right? Like anyone can use an agent OS and build with it. And it's a really powerful system once you understand it because you can use it for your business. You can customize it how you want. You can save a lot of time. And also potentially you could sell this to clients as well. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye bye. Let's see what questions we got here. I am vibe coding too. Nice. You are doing a great job. Keep going. Thank you very much. Never seen such a dedicated person. Hope you have a lot of success. Thank you very much, sir. That's super kind. Thoughts on SWE 1.7? Is this this is the new benchmark, right? I assume. If it is, the whole reason that I created the Goldie bench system is because the benchmarks that I saw were just crazy. Like none of it made sense to me. And I saw that with, for example, a lot of models are coming out, especially local models, where you see them on the benchmarks and then you test them and you're like, how? How is that even possible? How is that even relevant? And so we created the whole Goldie bench. I like to look at SWE and stuff like that and just see what it is. But in general, do I take it seriously? No. I think the best thing you can do is just test it out yourself. Which is the most powerful agentic AI system you have seen until now? Definitely my Agent OS system. I've not seen anyone else build anything as good or as powerful as this. I mean, like, for example, Grok 4.5 drops, we've already got it built into the system. HY3 dropped. Okay, great. Let's create a free AI coder inside the system where you can code, you can preview it, and you can see everything you've built and save it later. So I don't know of any other agentic system that's as powerful and as easy to use as this. And we've got 196 pages of testimonials and wins from people inside the community, so I know that it's really good. Literally, I haven't seen anything better. Josiah is here. Thank you very much, Josiah. Thank you for joining today. Always good to see you, mate. Do you really think GPT 5.6 will be better than Fable 5? No, as I mentioned before, I think that it will be slightly behind Fable 5. I think it'll be up there, but I don't think it would be as good side by side. So yeah, personally for me, and from what I heard from the beta testers as well, they all said like it's good, but it's not as good as Fable 5. So that's my honest expectation. Is like it'll be okay, but it won't be as good as Fable 5, and everyone will just keep using Claude like they have been for the last year or so. um, yeah, I think like there's a reason Claude is so popular and so powerful. Let's see how we're getting on with these tests. So we've got that over here. Let's have a look at Hermes Cloud. Oh, do you know what? Like Opus 4.5, what is going on here? Let's see if we can get it working again. How much does the Agent OS cost to run? So you can actually use it for free because there's a local model section here. There's OmniRoot, which is a free way of using over 90 free APIs with fallbacks as well, so you never get rate limited. And we also have HY3 coder inside there, which is free. Obsidian is inside there, which is free. So if you want to use it completely for free, you can. It's up to you. Like you can put as many resources into it as you want, but if you don't want to and you just want to use free models, you can too. Did you hear about GPT-6 and Fable 5.1? I didn't hear about that, and I only pay attention to relevant sources, so I can't see Fable 5.1 coming out anytime soon. But if it does, happy days. I'll be celebrating with you. The whole point of the Agent OS is to build the most powerful system that helps you grow your business to generate more leads, to save time, and to scale. That's the whole point of the Agent OS. Thoughts on Perplexity Computer? Don't pay attention to it at all anymore. Honestly, I think like the if you look at the Agent OS, like it's way because you can build your own computer, your own agentic operating system, and you can customize it as much as you want, and it can be way, way more powerful. Like, I mean, what other system can you look at the Hermes Oracle? Like, even for example, if you look at the Twitter Explore page, it doesn't give you as much information and it's not as useful as this. If you, for example, wanted to monitor your competitors, I don't know of any other system that's as good as this for monitoring competitors. So, like, everything that I've seen out there, I've tried to make this even better inside the Agent OS and way more powerful. And I think, like, it's way more useful to use this than any other system I've used out there. So, I think, for example, something like Perplexity Computer, just not never going to use it. Probably will never use it again, simply because the Agent OS is way more powerful. I don't see the point of using like a mediocre tool or getting distracted with mediocre tools when I can just build my own better system like you can see right here. And Perplexity Computer is probably okay for people who are not aware of like how to build an Agent OS. And it probably doesn't do a bad job, but it's like, why would I be limited by someone else's system when I could build and own my own, customize it as much as you want, and then improve it every day? Like, that's way more powerful because then you don't have to rely on another company. You own the system and you improve it every day. Whereas, for example, to make an improvement on Perplexity Computer, you can't, right? Someone else owns it. But best code, yeah, I mean, like out of everything, the best coding tool is Claude for everything. Literally for everything, the best is Claude. So, whatever you want to build, I would point directly to Claude. I don't think Codex even comes close at this point. Also, the other thing I found with Codex is like it just runs out of tokens really quickly. Do you think Grok has a chance of really pulling ahead soon? I don't see how it can because, for example, if you look at Grok 4.5, like it's barely competing with Opus 4.8. Like it's still behind Opus 4.8. So I don't see how it can overcome or overtake something like Fable 5, which is way more powerful. Like after you've used Fable 5, when you go back to Opus 4.8, it's like, what are we doing here? So I don't see how in the future Grok is going to overtake them unless something crazy happens. Even with all the stuff that they have, like they've always been behind. Ever since like last year when the first series models came out. So I just don't see how they're going to overtake someone like Claude. Claude are the best in the world at what they do. That's undeniable. The other thing that I would say is like if you look at Claude, they're very very focused. So they don't try and like do images and video and voice like Grok or ChatGPT. They're just like, nope, we want to build the best coder in the world. We're going to focus on that. And I think when you're that focused, how can you beat someone like that, right? How are you ever going to beat someone like that? So that's the way that I see it. What else we got here? Have you used Opus models with open code? I haven't recently. So I've used open code in the past, but I haven't used Opus recently. Um, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that goes. But I have heard that open code is a lot more token efficient, so it could be worth testing. I was tempted to build it out into the Agent OS, but I just didn't know enough people. Claude is Claude. Wise words, my friend. I mean, that sums it up perfectly. Claude is Claude. Exactly. It will probably take more time for X AI to get ahead. Yeah, and I don't know if they. I mean, honestly, if you look at Grok or you look at Elon's companies, like, and I really respect him, like, respect him, a lot, like, for what he's done and what he's achieved, and obviously he's done unbelievably well. But like, I don't really see him being the best in any of the fields that he's in. And maybe you disagree with me, but I just don't see like is he the best at anything? Whereas, for example, if you look at Claude, again, Claude, the founders of Claude, they're just focused on Claude. They're not like doing loads of crazy other projects. They're not trying to build cars and all that sort of thing. So it's like, well, how can you outcompete someone who's that focused at one thing? I don't see it in the future. Yeah, I see what you mean, but I still just don't see Claude being overtaken by Grok. Opus 4.8. Ah, of course, yeah. Fable 5 crushes Opus 4.8, like by a long, long way. If you actually look at Goldie Bench and you see our tests, we tested on like 47 different projects, and Fable 5 was just unbelievable. Sometimes Opus gives better results than Fable 5. Well, sometimes Fable 5 switches to Opus, so you got to bear that in mind as well. But yeah, I mean, this is only from my own experience. So if you want to check out Goldie Bench, have a look for yourself, see what we've built, compare the tests side by side, and then see for yourself what you think. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. I think they're miles ahead of everyone when it comes to coding. Claude, way, way better than everyone. Oh, we got all 48 out of 50 builds from Grok. Let's have a look what else we got here. Grok 4.5. I don't know if it's been deployed yet. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, we got all the demos here. Wow. Let's see what we got. So this is a video that it's created using Remotion. It's looking bad. It's not looking bad. It's pretty clean. So I mean, it just created this video in the background. It's pretty awesome. Let's have a look what else we got here. The parachute test. Boom shakalaka. It's okay. It's okay, but it's not as good as. I mean, look at the details here. Not that good, is it? Let's see what else we got. Oh, look, arcade games, pretty cool. Yeah, we're gonna have to do probably a comparison side by side versus something like Opus 4.8. Oh, now we're talking. Look at this. Pretty good. I'm very impressed by Grok. This is by far the best version of Grok that's ever dropped by a long, 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 long way. He is up there with Opus 4.8 for sure. Look at that. Nice. Feel free to post about that inside the AI Profitable Room, and you'll probably get a bunch of people who are interested in trying it out. Yep, they did. Grok got cursor. Do you think Claude is planning on cutting down? Nah, I don't think so. I think it will always be like that. Hopefully, we get Fable 5. What do you mean by one to one level? best deep research system. I don't really use deep research, honestly. But I think out of everything that I've seen or tested, probably Notebook LM. Like I think Notebook LM creates the best research, the most useful research, but I don't know anyone who really does much deep research personally. It seemed to be like one of those systems that came out and everyone thought, wow, that's amazing, but then never actually used it. And there's a lot of stuff like that. Grok 4.5 plus Hermes agent. How good is it? So he's pretty good so far. I've tested out. Now the cool thing is with Hermes is that you can actually get free access to Grok 4.5 if you're already subscribed to Twitter. So it doesn't cost me anything extra to use Grok 4.5 inside Hermes. Now, from what I've tested, and I'll show you, we've actually tested out like 45 different builds with Grok 4.5, which I can show you in a second. But from what I've seen so far, Grok 4.5 is right up there. It's not quite as good as Opus 4.8, but it's right up there. Maybe the closest, probably better than GLM 5.2 for competing with Opus 4.8 from Claude. So it's a really good model. However, one thing I've seen when I've tested out inside the chat when I build out a new profile with Hermes Agent and Grok 4.5 is like it is slow for tool calling. Like it will take about 60 seconds. I actually said like, what did we do yesterday? And it took about 60 seconds or 2 minutes to reply to us inside the chat. So we can create a separate Hermes agent profile and use it directly there. I actually wouldn't recommend it. I just think it's too slow to use. I think I'd much prefer to use something like GLM 5.2. Let's just test it out now. We'll see, okay, like just a basic question like, how are you today? Let's see how long that takes to respond with Hermes agent. You could create like something blank slate, like a blank slate profile with Hermes agent. That is an option. It replies in about 10 seconds when we ask it just a basic question like, how are you today? So it seems super slow. Like, I just feel if you want an agentic model and you ask a basic question, you don't expect to wait like 10 seconds. So that's not the best way to use it. I'm going to show you the best way to use it instead. What I'd recommend with Grok 4.5 is you have it inside custom workflows. So, for example, we've built out this custom tool using Grok 4.5 inside Hermes agent that can generate images, video, and voice in like one single click. And then we can use that to basically get the power of the agentic systems inside Hermes, but it feels like a SaaS tool and it doesn't cost us anything extra. And then that way we can segment it away from our chat. So for example, we can use something that's actually really fast to respond, like GLM 5.2 inside Hermes agent. And then when we're actually building out stuff with it, like for example, images and videos, that's when we're going to use Grok, because obviously GLM 5.2 cannot use or cannot create images for you like this, right? So for example, if we say, okay, generate, we'll try one of these basic ones. So like, you know, a glowing whale in a star-filled nebula ethereal, right? We'll hit generate here and we'll see how long that takes. So let's try this out. We just need to make sure we switch to Grok. Let's hit generate image. And how long is that going to take, my friends? There we go, pretty fast. And you can see the image right here, pretty cool. Let's open it up in a new tab. Have a look what it looks like. Yeah, it's pretty good quality, isn't it? Pretty easy to generate, takes about 5 seconds. And then we have an image studio ready to go inside the Agent OS. Now, also the cool thing about this is I can then use that in many different ways. So I can, for example, plug that into any of the other systems down here. The other cool thing that I've noticed with Grok is that you can actually create B-roll using Grok 4.5, and then you can describe the video that you want and use a combination of Grok 4.5 with the video agent that we've built here, and then we can use Grok for coming up with the content, doing the research via Twitter, and then generating the B-roll for our video, and then a video agent can put it all together inside one beautiful workflow. If you're wondering how does that look in reality, well, you can see an example here. So we can generate a video on the spot with an AI avatar, the voiceover, the B-roll plugged in, generated by Grok, and also the research itself, the news itself can be researched by Grok as well because we're using that real-time API from Twitter. Pretty amazing stuff. And again, does it cost me anything extra? No. Why? Because I'm already on the Twitter plan. So this is the amazing part of it. And I think this is how you really get the most out of Hermes in general, but also with Grok 4.5, because you can build your own custom SaaS style tools inside a system like this. They're one click away and you've got them ready to go, right? So this is our Agent OS, and then we can just use these systems whenever we want. So let's say, for example, like, right, okay, create a video about Grok 4.5 release today. So we can type that in. We can change the length over here. So we can have this up to like 10 minutes if you want to. But I'm just going to do a quick one just to show you it's a demo. So we're going to put that 15 seconds. We can change between voiceover and presenter. So I'll go with presenter. And then we're going to switch the B-roll engine to Grok. And we're going to use this avatar as we can see. Then we're going to say, okay, write the script now. By the way, let's have a look what questions we got here. So, I mean, hopefully we get a model that's one-to-one level with Fable 5. Yeah, maybe. I mean, this is a pretty good point. So someone mentions that apparently this is saying all right, yeah. So thinking level from GPT 5.6 Soul has not been tested. Yeah, that could be hopeful, but I just don't see how Fable 5 level usage is going to be reached. Let's see. Let's see what happens in the future. Will GPT 5.6 be better than Fable 5? No, I don't think so. I feel like a lot of people are going to switch to ChatGPT because of GPT 5.6. Let's see. I don't know because these models change every month. Like for me, it's a good question. I don't know. Let's see how many tokens we get as well on the subscription. But yeah, I can see what you mean. Like for example, if that's a really good point. Like if GPT 5.6 comes out and then it's included inside the subscription, you can use it with your agents, and you can't do that with Fable 5. Yeah, I could see that for sure. Actually, you got a great point. Can you please include Perplexity Computer inside Goldie Bench? But then the thing is, Perplexity Computer is not a model; it is a system, and so the problem with using Perplexity Computer is that you would have to select the models, and there's loads of different models that are always getting updated inside there. So it doesn't really make sense because you're kind of using like a wrapper to test a model. Whereas, for example, Perplexity Computer uses Fable 5, so you might as well test Fable 5 directly. So that's why I don't include it inside Goldie Bench, because Perplexity Computer is just a wrapper, right? It's just like a way of having a system that puts everything together. Yes, you can. You can indeed. You just won't get the updates right. But yeah, feel free to get it inside the alpha for warning. You just won't get the updates, but yeah, you can get the latest version for sure. You might have said this already, but what does Goldie Bench actually base the scores on? I wouldn't pay too much attention to the scores, honestly. Again, I would just have a look at the actual builds. So have a look at the builds and then see what you think from there. because if you look at the builds, that's going to be way more useful in terms of these like subjective scores. Even if you get the AI to score it, it's still subjective because it's like, well, how long did you test the game out for? You know, how long did you try it out for? How useful was it? And like, I don't think the scores are that useful for any sort of system like this. I just think it's good to like have a look at the builds and go, okay, this is pretty amazing. Let's try that out more. Um, and I think that's way more powerful than just uh, relying on the scores, which would change. Like for example, the even the scale of the scores would change depending on the new models that come out. Because for example, like once if you get an 11 out of 10, well then you have to change the whole score for everyone, and that doesn't make sense. Open Router Fusion is also a great system. Yeah, we have that inside the Agent OS too. So, for example, if you go to Fusion over here, we have a panel of models. But again, like it's not really a model; it's a system. But we have the system built in inside the Agent OS as well. In fact, that's the one that's leading on Goldie Bench right now. So if you look at the leaderboard of Goldie Bench, you can see the Fusion is right at the top. We've built out 47 tasks with this. Hermes Mixture of Agents is then scoring above it. And then we've got Claude Fable 5. Yeah, that's it. I would compare the demos. I wouldn't worry too much about the uh yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about the scores. Josiah said, I use Goldie Bench from my phone and play Dracula. Nice, man. Yeah, it's a great game. It's an awesome game. We should set up a system where our AI agents can just play it as well. That'd be quite funny. So you can see now it's researching and writing the script for our video about Grok 4.5, which again is a brand new update, requires real-time research. Claude might be able to find that, but I think you're much better getting that information from something like Grok 4.5 because like sometimes Claude is way behind in its knowledge, and then it has to do web search and it has to use more tools and it gets slower, everything else, right? This system right here will just use Grok 4.5 with the video agent, generate the B-roll, generate the research, generate the voiceover, and it's all good to go from there. I think that's way more powerful. So we can come back to that in a second. It will just work in the background. And then the other thing that I would say here is that, for example, if you look at Claude, which is, you know, obviously Opus 4.8 is like the standard sort of comparison between Grok 4.5 and the best models for Hermes Agent. With Claude, you can't use your OAuth login, right? So if you want to use Claude directly with something like Hermes, you have to pay for the API. But if you use Grok and you're already subscribed to Twitter, you can use OAuth for generating images, videos, web research, and also voice notes, but you don't need to pay any extra. So that's a big benefit as well. So now we can see that the research is ready to go. And basically what it's done here is it's looked at and researched the whole topic, come up with the details here. It's actually used the research, which is pretty useful. And then also what we can do from here is just click on generate the avatar and the B-roll, and that will generate the videos in the background with the B-roll, create the avatar and plug it all together. Pretty powerful as a system. So you've got Video Agent that can just create and automate whenever you want. Now, the final thing that I would show you is Hermes Oracle. And so what this does is it pulls in the latest news from our industry, organizes it in terms of what's trending right now, gives us an angle. We can publish an SEO blog about that particular topic in like one single click. We can see all the content that we've published around that topic. So for example, these are all blogs that we've created directly from the Hermes Oracle system, which basically researches the latest news every 24 hours. We consult the Oracle, we get the latest trending information back, and then it organizes it by, you know, what's trending the most. Super powerful stuff. We can also see previous days. So we can click between previous days and get the history of everything too. It's just a really, really useful system that, again, is custom built. And I think that's how to get the most out of Grok 4.5. Grok 4.5 out of the box with Hermes Agent, not very useful. Grok 4.5 with a video agent, Hermes Oracle, the studio for generating images, videos, and voice notes, that's literally like way, way more powerful. That's 10 times more powerful. And then the final thing that I would say here as well is like you can use it to automatically update your memory system. So we have Obsidian as a memory knowledge graph plugged into the Agent OS. And then inside the recent section here, we get new updates based on what's just been done with, for example, like Hermes Apollo and everything else. And then that is automatically logged into our memory system so that all of our agents have context about what we've worked on recently. And so all of our agents inside the Agent OS can look at the memory system, understand exactly what we've worked on, even over the last 24 hours, and then they're fully trained with context on what we're doing. And I don't have to touch any of this because my agents are automatically updating the memory system for me. So that's really powerful too. You can also use it inside this system for generating images. And yeah, I think Grok 4.5 is powerful if you have the right workflows, which is what I've shown you today. So if you want to get our full Agent OS with Hermes Astros, Hermes Oracle using Grok 4.5, we've got the studio with Grok 4.5 to generate images, videos, and voice. And then we also have the video agent that can use Grok as well to create some amazing stuff. And we can see everything that we've created as well previously over here. And we have Grok plugged in as a CLI inside this section. And again, we can preview everything that we've created with Grok 4.5. I did actually promise that I'd show you what we've built with Grok 4.5 so far. So if we have a look at some of the outputs here, like it can create some awesome stuff, as you can see, like pretty interesting, very visual style games and that sort of thing. So for example, here, this is a flight simulator that we created. And you can see, for example, we actually created a fully animated video using Grok 4.5 as well. The interesting thing about this is we just taught Grok 4.5 the skill of remotion, and then it can generate a beautiful animated video, as you can see. It looks super sleek, easy to create, and yeah, it does create some awesome stuff. Let me show you another example. So this is a game that we created as well. Pretty fun, easy to build. But yeah, I genuinely think like Grok is a very useful model. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get all of this, you can get it inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments and description, or go to the aiprofitboardroom.com. This is my AI automation community for helping you save time, grow, and learn with AI automation. And if you're wondering, okay, like, how what's the community like, what's the vibe like, etc. So it's just a really positive community where we all learn and grow and share things together. So for example, loads of people are using our Agent OS system that we share inside there right now. We're at 196 pages of testimonials and wins. You can see, for example, all these different wins and people sharing stuff, and you can see how quickly people have installed this. Like Rick set this up in like 30 minutes. It's a really powerful system, a great community, lots of awesome people, lots of people building amazing stuff right there. I personally answer the questions inside the community with a video tutorial every single day as well. And then also, if you want to get our full Agent OS system, just go inside the classroom and we update it daily inside this section. So you can see the last update date, you can see the video tutorial, you get a full guide, and then you also get the zip file to install it. And then we add new daily tutorials based on what's actually working and what's useful. So feel free to get that. Also, inside the calendar, you can drop a weekly coaching calls, get help and support in real time. Inside the map, you can meet people in your local area who are building with AI agents like you. And that's all is available inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description, or go to the aiprofitboardroom.com. Thanks for watching. What Claude plan do you have? And is it worth it for you? I mean, yeah, Claude is 100% worth it for me, whatever plan I'm on. Right? I have the best plan though. I think it's a max. Does the Agent OS increase token usage? So we have token minimization playbooks, so you don't have to worry about that. And we also have a video tutorial on how to use free models and systems inside the Agent OS as well. So if you're worried about that, we've already fixed that problem. Don't worry. So Grok 4.5 just dropped, pretty powerful model. I'm going to show you exactly how to use it for AI SEO. And this is based on what's working for my websites right here, here, and here. And we've created some amazing systems using Grok 4.5 for AI SEO that I'm going to show you exactly how to use. So let's kick it off right here. So if you're wondering, okay, how are we getting such good rankings right now? So basically, we are using the Hermes Oracle system, as you can see right here. And so what we're doing with each of our websites. So, for example, if we type in Hermes Agent voice mode as an example into Google, you can see us ranking right here and here as well. And then also you can see us ranking over here for that particular keyword, right? So 3 times on the first page of Google. Now, how and why are we doing that? Number one, we are going after trending keywords that we can quickly rank for because they have less competition. There's a lot of search volume for them, and we can easily rank for them on Google, as I've just shown you a second ago, right? With 3 different examples. Now, if you're wondering how do we find trending keywords, I would say there's no point going to Ahrefs because that data is quite old. There's no point, for example, having a look inside your Google Search Console because these are trending new keywords. So what we do instead is we search through Twitter, we pull in the latest data from the API, and we look at what's trending right now because we know that's going to give us an indication of what people are searching on Google. And then we create content automatically for it across our websites and also our social media platforms. So you can see, for example, here, this actually gets refreshed every 24 hours. And so essentially, what we're doing here is we're pulling in the latest headlines from Twitter in terms of what's trending. So you can see, for example, Grok 4.5 and the new model right here. And then we have the details of the news update, the original tweet, the angle that's recommended for us publishing content around it. And then also we can draft that content for social media, or we can actually publish that content directly to WordPress in one single click. So this whole system links to my websites, and then we can actually create SEO content in one single click for that particular topic. Not just that, my friends, because what we can also do is we can draft content using this button here, and then we can publish content across our social media to rank for that topic as well. Which means that we can rank with AI SEO using our social media, but also using our websites. And we also have a video agent inside the system that can also use this. So, what I mean by this, for example, if we look at this video agent here, is that we can ask it to generate a video. So, if we say, okay, create a video about Grok 4.5, and it will use Grok to generate the B-roll and the research because it will search through Twitter in real time, find the latest data and news and headlines, and then use that to generate a script, a voiceover, and pull a whole video together. Now, if you want to see a working example of that, you can see a bunch of examples we've generated with the video agent using my AI avatar and a voiceover that's all fully edited, put together beautifully. It's got a nice avatar inside here. It's got the B-roll generated with Grok 4.5, and then we can rank that content directly on Google too. How do I know it can rank on Google? Because, for example, if we type in this keyword, you can see us ranking with a video here and also here using this particular method, right? So it's super powerful, easy to set up, and we can start ranking with this straight away. So this is the system that we're using. This is what I'd recommend for you. I've got an agent operating system where we're all these workflows plugged into one place, and then we can quickly gather these headlines and create content around them with videos and also SEO content. And if you want the same system for me, it's inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Or if you want to get a free SEO strategy session, maybe you just want us to implement these sort of SEO systems for you, then you can get that at goldie.agency to book in a free SEO strategy session. But either way, Grok 4.5 is really powerful. And also you might be wondering, okay, how does this compare versus other models? This is the first time I've actually seen a model apart from GLM 5.2 directly compare and compete with Grok and Opus 4.8, right? So let me show you an example of this. So we've got Grok 4.5 here, and we can compare it versus, for example, Opus 4.8. So if we have a look at this comparison page, by the way, these are benchmarks that we've created. We've tested 49 different tasks. And if you look, for example, even at this particular game here, so this is created with Opus 4.8, simple, basic arcade game, as you can see. Now let's have a look at the Grok 4.5 example, right? 3D, way more powerful, way more interesting, better UI, more fun to play, and it actually outcompetes it. So the interesting thing about this is that Grok, for the first time I've ever seen, is actually holding its own against Opus 4.8. Here's another example. So this was created with Opus 4.8, not too bad. Let's have a look, and we've got the Grok 4.5 version here, and there's not much difference between them. Like they're pretty similar. This also looks good, also looks nice, interesting, etc. And so we've done 49 different comparisons here, and I can tell you, after 49 different tasks, Opus 4.8 holds its own. Here's an example of a video we've generated. So this is with Opus 4.8, and this is with Grok 4.5 build. Now, Grok 4.5, not bad at all, right? Definitely holds its own. I wouldn't say it's better, but I would say it's just right up there. And you can see we've just consulted the Oracle here to find new information. So, for example, we've got Grok 4.5 launching right here. And let's say, for example, we wanted to create a piece of content around one of these particular topics. Let's see what would be good. All right, yeah, Quen and GLM crush agent benchmarks. If we click publish to WordPress here, that's going to generate an SEO article in one single click across 4 different pages, right? Pretty interesting. And then if we look at the publish section here, we can see the articles themselves that were published for that topic. So super easy, simple to set up, and the same, for example, with the video agent. Now, also, some people say, well, how do you make the content have information gain? So what we have inside this system is our memory galaxy. And with the memory galaxy, we can train our agents like Grok to generate unique content that understands me, my voice, my goals, because it has all of these different memories and information about my projects. So it understands, okay, here's how we create funnels. Here's how I make decisions, right? It's got my decisions log. It has all of these different nodes and memories that it can understand and put together, and also updates automatically. So every time, for example, we consult the Oracle, that's actually going to update inside our memory galaxy, and then we can use Grok 4.5 to generate better content that's more unique and personalized to me because we're using this full system together. So it's pretty powerful. And then we also have inside the Agent OS this research section, so we can look at our Google Search Console Analytics here and just run research whenever we want about those particular topics. We can also go to the SEO office. We can generate content with one keyword and one case study. We can deploy content to our website, and then we can see everything that we've created in the past as well. So together, it's probably the most powerful SEO system that I've seen. It's all custom made based on all of my tests recently and what I actually wanted it to do. And it's really easy to use. So these are the ways. And then also, when you're using Grok, you can also use the Grok build CLI inside the Agent OS as well. So what this does is basically you can generate like coding projects. So if you wanted to build out a website using Grok, like we've created a landing page here, you can do that using the CLI. So you just go inside the chat, tell it exactly what you want, then it's going to build it and you'll see it inside your workspace over here. So that's pretty powerful as well, because then when you're actually creating the websites that you want to use for SEO, it's right there. And if you want to create the SEO content for SEO, you've got it over here. And if you want to create content around trending topics, guess what? You've got that over here. And then if you want to update your memory and make sure it's all personalized with SEO content that's not just generic fluff, or you've got the memory system. And also if you want to generate videos that actually rank, then you've got that system here. So everything you need to win with SEO, and Grok 4.5 is inside this system. I don't know anyone else who's actually built something as powerful as this. And I think that if you're considering using AI for SEO, this is the best way to get the most out of it. I don't know anyone else who's doing this. So if you want to get my full system from me, you can get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description, or go to the AIProfitBoardroom.com. The Agent OS is inside the classroom. Just go to this section over here. If you want to ask questions, I actually answer them personally with a video tutorial every single day. So every single one of these questions gets an answer from me, and I help you as much as I can. Inside the classroom, you can get all of our best trainings. We have a full AI SEO automation section over here. And then also we have new daily updates, including new updates on Agent OS and everything else. Inside the calendar, you can jump on weekly coaching calls. Inside the map, you can meet people in your local area who are building with AI agents like you. And that's all available inside here. Also, if you want that free SEO strategy session, then you can get that at goldie.agency. Link in the comments description. And you can book in a free SEO strategy session. On that call, my team of world-class experts are going to look at your website. They're going to analyze your rankings. They're going to see exactly where you can improve and then give you advice that's personalized to you to make sure that you can actually rank and get traffic to your website with SEO based on what's working for us. So feel free to book that in. Link in the comments description, or go to the AIProfitBoardroom.com. Thanks for watching. I would say the worth and the value of something depends on what you get back. So you want to look at what are you getting back personally, and then analyze it from there. What you don't want to do is ask me that question, because like the what I get back from it might be different from what you get back from it. So I would just look at your own workflows and go, okay, Does this make sense? Is it saving me time? But for me, 100%. Claude is 100% worth it. So we've been testing out Grok 4.5 versus Opus 4.8. And I want to show you what we've seen today and how it performs and whether Grok 4.5 actually beats Claude Opus 4.8. I've actually been very impressed by Grok 4.5 so far. It's performing very well. It's created some really interesting things. So let's see how it performs side by side. We've actually got the compare section over here. We can compare both of them. We've tested 48 different models side by side and tasks. So let's see how they perform. We got Grok 4.5 on the left hand side, Opus 4.8 on the right hand side. On the benchmarks, it actually looks like Grok 4.5 is on a similar level. But what does it look like in reality? Because I don't like to pay too much attention to benchmarks. I think we've all been in a situation where things don't feel or look the same as the benchmarks that we see. And that's why I actually created Goldie Bench. So, first thing that we're going to test is the Crypt game. So, this is Grok 4.5, as you can see. Pretty nice, easy to play, nice graphics, 3D, works smoothly, gameplay is good, and it's created like this kind of maze game, as you can see. That's fun and interesting to play, right? Now, if we actually have a look at the version from Opus 4.8, it didn't generate, it totally failed at the task. You created the entry page here, but nothing else. So far, Grok 4.8 won. Grok 4.5, sorry. It gets confusing between the numbers, to be honest with you. Next up, we have Dragon Realm. So I'm going to play these side by side. This is Grok 4.5. Not too bad, pretty smooth to play. Looks quite nice. And then let's compare this versus Opus 4.8. Now, one of the things that I've noticed straight away with Opus 4.8 is that the controls are kind of reversed. But I would actually say like the 3D landscape is probably better with Opus 4.8. So I'm going to put that as a tie because the controls are easier with Grok 4.5, but Opus 4.8 wins on the gameplay. So it's a tie on that one. So far, Grok 4.5 has won one, and Claude hasn't won any. Next up, we have the racing game. So this is Grok 4.5, and this is Opus 4.8. Opus 4.8 totally failed on the racing games. You can see it's like super buggy. Let's compare it versus Grok 4.5. Pretty nice, smooth, fun to play, difficult to play, but it's actually like a playable and useful game. You know, the graphics are even nice as well. So that's pretty cool. So 2 to Opus 4.5, 2 to Grok 4.5, and 0 to Opus 4.8. Let's compare the next one, which is the Skyrim style game. So I think we're going to have to go full screen to play this properly. There we go. It's smooth, it's fun. The graphics are a little bit basic, but overall, it's pretty smooth and fun to play. Actually playable, actually useful. Very open world, like seems like a massive game when you actually walk around in it. Now, if we compare that to Opus 4.8, I would say the graphics have more detail, just on a slightly better level, but there's nothing really going on here, right? There's no, for example, enemies, there's no characters, it's just you, first person, walking around. So there's not that much interesting stuff going on. So yeah, I would say the Grok 4.5 won. And by the way, like, don't listen to me. Don't trust anyone else. Just test this stuff out yourself. And if you want to see what I've built, you can check out Goldie Bench. But I always think it's better to check this stuff out yourself. See what you think. Go from there. Now, this is Twilight Vale with Grok 4.5. Camera angle is a little bit hard to control, but overall pretty cool. It does feel like a little bit small, but maybe that's just because we need to walk around more. Let's compare that versus Opus 4.8. Opus 4.8 doesn't get past the beginner's page here. So you can see we're clicking to begin, but it doesn't work. So 4 to Grok 4.5 and 0 to Opus 4.8. Now, let's have a look at Voxel Craft. So this is kind of like a Minecraft style game. So you can see we can walk around, we can build stuff. It actually has the functionality build, as you can see right here, and then we can select the blocks that we want as well. So we can switch between them, which is nice and useful too. I think it's a little bit buggy over here. Oh, we got all these crazy characters running after us now. Difficult. Difficult. All right. That was pretty nice. Let's have a look at Opus 4.8. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. This is super basic. So 5 to Grok 4.5 and 0 to Opus 4.8 so far. Now we've got this one here as well, which is like a virtual runner. It doesn't work on Opus 4.8, so you can see here, and it doesn't work really on Grok 4.5. I wouldn't say either of them actually created anything decent here. This is super laggy and buggy, and you just can't play it. This one you can't play at all either. So I would say they drew on that one too. Then we have the driving game. So this is Grok 4.5. It's a bit buggy in places. For example, like we can't drive through there sometimes. And then there's not much detail. You see how it's just buggy? It's like driving into nothing. Whereas, for example, if we look at the Opus 4.8 version here, it's pretty nice. It's a little bit laggy in gameplay, but overall pretty nice. So I would say that Claude won that one. Then we have the edited video, right? So this is the video generated using Remotion, and this is Opus 4.8 versus Grok 4.5. I would say Opus 4.8 won by a long way here. It just looks nicer, it's smoother, it's more interesting, it's faster, it keeps your attention more, and the colors look nicer too. So if I had to pick between them, I'm going to go with this one. Then we have the parachute game. So this is Grok 4.5. Opus 4.8 didn't work at all on this one, as you can see. Grok 4.5 works a little bit. I don't really like the detail. I wouldn't play this at all, but if you want to use it, you can. And you can see like it actually does count down the altitude and everything else, which is pretty nice. Next up, we have the flight simulator. Now, this one I actually found really difficult to play. Like, you see how it's just a bit buggy, you can't really move forward or backwards right here? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Let's have a look at the Opus 4.8 version. I would say that's a lot nicer. Yeah, a lot more interesting, cool colors, bit buggy in places, but at least you can actually play it and do something interesting with it. So it looks like Claude is making a comeback here. One thing that I did actually personally test as well is using Grok 4.5 inside Hermes Agent. If you're using it directly in the chat, it is very, very slow from what I saw. It can take like 10 seconds just to reply on a basic chat message. And then it doesn't feel very agentic, is what I'm saying. So I probably wouldn't use it with Hermes unless you're, for example, using it for generating video or images and that sort of thing. Then Hermes is pretty useful with it. So we have Opus 4.8 with the Neon arcade game over here. And then we have over here Grok 4.5, which is like a 3D fun game to use. Looks super nice, nice UI, etc. More interesting. I would say again, Grok won that round. So it's currently 7-3. Grok is crushing it so far. Let's see what we get next. So we've got another flying game. It's pretty nice. I'm not really sure how to use this or play this properly, to be honest with you. It's not very obvious to me. But actually, no, you kind of get the hang of it. It's all right. Not bad at all. Let's have a look at the version from Opus 4.8. See, like, there's not much going on here in terms of Opus 4.8. Like, there's no characters. There's nothing going on. There's nothing flying towards me. This one has a lot more interesting, entertaining elements. Then we have Dragon Flight. It's super hard to control this. I don't really know what it's supposed to be doing. It's just like flying back and forth. It's a bit confusing. If we have a look at the Opus 4.8 one, I would say it's a lot more linear, but it actually works and it's kind of interesting. More fun to play. Yeah, I would say Opus 4.8 won that one. So it's now 4-8. This one for sure, like Grok 4.5 just generates 3D things by default. If we compare that versus Opus 4.8, nowhere near the same, right? Nowhere near as interesting. So this is some other stuff it's created. Let's have a look what we got next. Next up, we have Outrun. So this is Grok 4.5. Again, really cool, really fun to use. This is Opus 4.8. Pretty buggy, not that great. And then we have the pool game. The angle of this is really weird. This game, if you look, and it's pretty hard to play that. Let's have a look at the version from Opus 4.8. It's a bit more 2D, but it's easier to use, easier to control. So I'm going to go with Opus 4.8 for that. Then we have this maze style game. Pretty cool on Grok build. Sorry, Grok 4.5. Looks pretty nice. Yeah, actually works. Fun 3D game. Looks cool. Let's try out now Opus 4.8. It's not bad, but you can't control it in the same way. The camera angle is really difficult to control as well. So, I mean, overall, on the actual builds that we've tested, I would go with Grok 4.5. However, what I will say here is just in general, when I've tested them both out, like if I was, for example, building out an agent operating system, I would still go with Claude Opus 4.8. And that maybe that's just me being biased, maybe that's my brain trained to using something like Claude. But I honestly prefer to use Claude for building stuff like this out. So actually for building systems, for building workflows, for work related stuff, then I would go with Claude Opus 4.8. For agentic stuff, you don't really get a choice because, for example, if you're using Hermes Agent, you can't plug OAuth with Claude anymore into Hermes Agent. And then when it comes to like building out fun projects like we were talking about before, the games that we created, Grok 4.5 is very, very good, like holds its own. So what I'd recommend for you is that you test out. I probably wouldn't use Grok 4.5 for agentic stuff unless you're using the images and videos. And when it comes to Claude is still really powerful for using inside Claude Desktop and building stuff. So everything that you're seeing inside the Agent OS, we built with Claude. And it's a really powerful system that we literally built from zero. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get a full Agent OS with Grok and all the Claude systems that we've put in there, for example, like the video agent, the SEO agent, the Grok 4.5 Hermes Oracle system that we've got inside here, you get it all inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description, or just go to the AIProfitBoardroom.com. Inside the community, you can ask questions, get help and support in real time. I personally answer all the questions inside there. Inside the calendar, you can jump on weekly coaching calls and share your screen, meet other members. Inside the classroom, you can get access to all of our best trainings, and you can get the new daily updates with the Agent OS system. You see when it was last updated, the video tutorial and a full step-by-step guide, and a zip file to install it. And then we have new daily tutorials like you can see right here, based on what's actually working. Inside the map, you can meet people in your local area who are building with AI agents like you. You can get that all inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description, or just go to the AIProfitBoardroom.com. Thanks for watching. All right, peeps, we've covered Grok 4.5, Hermes Agent with Grok 4.5, AI SEO with Grok 4.5, and also the Agent OS latest community questions, plus Grok 4.5 versus Opus 4.8. Thanks for watching, everyone. Appreciate all the questions. And I will see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.